Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Accelerate Your Performance podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Janet Pilcher, founder and president of Studer Education. Glad to have you with us today. Change is everyday business. Think about that. Change is everyday business. When we think about change and we think about what we do each and every day, leading our organizations, change is part of the ins and outs of the work. Things aren't coming in at a particular time and saying, wow, that's change, and this is not. Everything that we do each and every day is about how we're managing and leading change. We have changes that are occurring in our internal environment. We have changes that are occurring because there are external factors that are influencing the decisions that we're making. It's not something that we go learn to do and then apply and forget about. It's not episodic in nature, as John Cotter would say. It's continuous. It's occurring all the time, all around us, everywhere. So when we think about how we lead, we have our mind set that change is just simply everyday business. How we lead our teams through change becomes one of the most important parts of the job. How do we develop those skills? That's one reason I wrote the 9 Pillars for Leadership Excellence, the desk reference. That's really a how-to book on how to apply specific tactics to help us nurture our teams and coach our teams with the right types of tactics to achieve results and lead our teams down that path. And here's why it's so important. Several weeks ago, I was reading a Harvard Business Review journal, and there was a study by Gartner. And at the end of the study, the bottom line was this: employees' confidence in leaders continues to decline. They depend on us. They count on us, yet their confidence continues to decline. To execute well, we need to bring our teams along and also address those that will not come with us. So there are 3 key points that I would like to talk about very briefly, going back to some of the main concepts that we've been talking about over the last decade or so. And the first is aligning leader behaviors that produce results and thinking about what that means in relation to change. Remember the arrows. Remember the picture, or picture it in your mind if you've never seen it. There's one picture on one side where there are small arrows going in a lot of different directions. There are random acts of things that are chaotic going on. And then you move over toward the middle, and there's an arrow, a thick arrow, with those little arrows kind of moving in and out and going in various directions and trying to build that alignment within that bigger arrow. And then when we move to the right, we see that thicker big arrow and all the little arrows aligned within that arrow moving in a common direction. We have aligned acts of improvement. And we go from a chaotic feel to feeling like we're aligned, able to move forward in a positive way. Here's the kicker with this picture. We would like to think that when we move from one side of that picture to the other side of that picture, then it's sustainable. But when a change occurs, guess what happens, right? We go right back to the other side of the picture, and it's our ability to lead our people through that chaotic feeling back to alignment, to align our practices and behaviors in ways that help people work through that change, that discomfort. So alignment and aligning our people become important when we think about change is everyday business. The second point is that applying tactics so that people are valued and people know that what they do adds value is important. It falls back on Mercurio's framework, and I really want to focus on that second point. We're pretty good at telling people or giving people, recognizing people to show that they have value. We're not so good at that second part, of Mercurio's framework, which says that people need to know that what they do adds value. So when we're giving the recognition or when we're connecting people to the value of what they give, we connect it back to how they are contributing to the whole, how they know that every day when they show up, they make a difference, that they're adding value to the work and that they're valued for it. Being valued and connecting it to mattering is a little bit different than belongingness. That's a term we've been accustomed to, but not as much to the term of mattering. Belongingness is important, but belongingness is when people feel connected to and approved by a group. Mattering is a deeper feeling. So people feel they are valued and indispensable to the group. So how do we as leaders begin to be intentional about the tactics that we apply in our day-to-day work so that people know that what they do adds value to the organization? The second part of mattering in our teams knowing what they do matters is engaging in conversations so that people in our organization are focused on getting 1% better every day. 1% better every day. It's conversations around gathering data. Could be numeric data, it could be conversational data, but gathering data and feedback, analyzing that feedback with our teams, getting them to help us make sense of that data, and then taking action based on what we think we need to do as a team in order to build those improvements. And then as we build those improvements and take that action, we gather more data, we analyze it, we make sense of it, and we modify our actions. And we, as a team, are very connected to the work that we do each and every day in ways that we build those improvements. The leader is facilitating that process to help our teams know how what they do matters to get 1% better every day. Change is everyday business. Our behavior as leaders tell us we need to align our leader behaviors to produce results, the alignment, and two, to apply tactics so that people are valued and know that what they do adds value. The third component of leading, knowing change is everyday business, is committing to solid performance is not good enough. Many of you have seen the performance curve. The performance curve that we show where there's 30% of the people in our organization are naturally high performers, 60% solid performers, and 10% low performers. We've said for many years that most of our people are solid performers, and we continue to coach people who are solid performers, and they contribute tremendously to our organization. And that is true. And now I would like to just promote here that it's also not good enough to settle for that. That our goal as leaders is to move our people, move that curve right and tight, so that curve becomes tighter with less variability, so that people are moving to high solid and high performers, so that they can work toward understanding what they need to do to get 1% better every day. The goal is to have less variability in performance and higher performance. Less variability in the way people show up each and every day and achieve the outcomes that are needed to be the best that they can be in order to help our organizations get 1% better. That's what's important as we think about solid performance not being good enough. It's truly moving that performance curve right and tight, as Stephen Covey has taught us. Going back, thinking about change is everyday business. To execute well, we need to bring our teams along. We need to align our leader behaviors so that they produce results, and know that managing and leading people through discomfort, when we become out of line, because of a change that occurs is an extremely important part of being a great leader. Number 2, applying tactics so that people are valued and know what they do adds value, and really spending time on that second part, being very specific about how we help people understand that. And number 3, solid performance is not good enough. As I was writing the 9 pillars of leadership excellence for Leadership Excellence Desk Reference, what I realized there, first of all, there are over 60 tactics and over 20 additional concepts and strategies in that desk reference that provide the skills and capabilities that leaders need in order to lead in the most productive way, understanding that change is everyday business. I hope that when you think about ways that you advance yourselves as leaders, that you're focusing most importantly on how we lead our teams, how you lead your teams, I lead my teams, to be the best that they can be, to get 1% better every day. We've not achieved great leadership until our teams have achieved greatness. That's up to us as leaders, and up to us to continue to learn and grow and develop ourselves to be the best that we can be, because change is everyday business. Have a great week, everyone.